Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we are working on side B of page 1 for my Lady Vagabond Lifestyle mini album. The pages measure 8 by 11 and today we'll be working on this page. I'm going to take this 8.5 by 11 and score it at the half-inch line to build a hinge. And lining it up, I'll go ahead and work out the width measurement. Very simple, edge of the page, about 1/8 of an inch clearance between the two items. I'm going to take this page and turn it into my door pages. Essentially, I just have to do a 1/2 inch hinge on both sides of the page, and then going forward from there, I will just split it in half, and that will give me both sides of my door. So I'm lining it up here to find the exact middle, and then I will use the paper trimmer and trim it right up the middle. Now they'll bump into each other if I don't take a little bit off. So what I did was simply flip the one hinge where it bumped up against the edge of the other and put the open end towards the edge of the paper so I would know how much to take off. Just very little to create a gap where they won't bump into each other, opening and closing. Put on a little bit of the fabric tack, give a little bit of play time, make those little adjustments that we need when we're putting our hinges and our doors on. before I put the right hand door down, we're going to go ahead and attach the ribbon closure for the larger flap to the base page. And we attached it the same way as the other side. Okay. We'll go ahead and put the second ribbon on the back of the page. That will of course be the inside of our finished page. Okay, I've selected some embellishments to go on the outside, and then I'll be selecting the pattern paper to go along with them. These are just some stamps that I have in my collection that I embossed and then inked up a little bit to give them that sort of aged look. Okay, this is the first option. I don't always have a set plan for the pattern paper. With this collection, I definitely had a plan for the design paper and images that I wanted to use. But I had pulled the pattern paper based on what I thought went with the collection anyway, and so I'll use them kind of together and whatever fits best at that moment. And I'm just looking at different pieces that I have and deciding what I like the best. And I decided to go with this beautiful deep red pattern here, and I'm gonna cut it to single out the pattern in the middle, and which you'll be able to see better when we've got it cut down to size. Okay, I need a little more of a gap around the edges, so I'm going to trim that down just a little bit more. And we're just looking at length. Pattern paper can be kind of hard to work with sometimes. You just kind of have to just take a moment. Fortunately, that was on the length that I needed to cut, section that I needed to cut for length, but as we'll see, paper can just be not as forgiving as the cardstock that we use. And there we go. So we're going to do it the old-fashioned way. Grab some scissors, eyeball it, keep it as straight as we can. It's only paper. There we go. And we've got to pull out the paper trimmer again. Not really sure I want to, but we're going to get it done. I'm actually going to start the cut in more towards away from the outside edge, as you can see, and just be really lightweight through it. And there we go. Now I've scalloped the edges on the green paper, so I've got to scallop the corners on the the pattern paper. I've got some little fringes or wispies from where the cutter didn't cut quite as cleanly as I would like. Clean those up. Now, because it's paper, sometimes you need to go ahead and put a piece of cardstock behind your paper, because these corner chompers are designed to be used with cardstock, and paper's just not sturdy enough to go through without an issue most of the time. So I find that this helps be able to punch paper. And there's some more fuzzies from the way it trimmed up, but that's okay, we can address that. Now you may notice here a magnet on the page when we get ready to glue this one down. I had thought to have this page have a magnetic closure. After I finished building it, I realized that really wasn't viable. So we do end up putting an additional ribbon closure for just the door part of the page. But we don't see that in this video. I may have done it off camera once I was getting everything figured out. But I basically will just attach the two pieces of ribbon on either side of the page on the back side to come around front. Burnish that down really well. And I realized I had not aged up my edges or inked up my edges, so took a moment, did that real quick. And now we will select papers for the inside. Again, laying things against each other, seeing what I like, what fits the overall aesthetic. We're going to be focusing on the flower in the middle, so we're going to trim the paper to preserve as much of that center flower as possible. Again, the base pages are 8 by 11. I trim my paper to, just inside that, about 1/8 inch all the way around. And I enjoy, you know, um, layering the paper sometimes. So if I have a piece that isn't quite big enough, or I just want to layer a second little strip or something with it, I will also do that. So again, we've got some little fuzzies because the paper trimmer gets a little bit dulled by all the cardstock, and so it doesn't cut paper quite as sharp as it could. And here again, I want to get my edges inked up just to keep the look consistent, not have just the stark bright colors of the paper. We tone it down a little bit to kind of match the feel of the designer paper with the rust colors and the patina and so forth. I haven't found one since then, but the brush that I'm using was a makeup brush from Walmart. And at this point, I probably have had it for about 3 years. I have not seen one since. Um, I certainly couldn't find one on Amazon, but I haven't seen one at Walmart either. If someone knows that there's one there, let me know in the comments. It's super soft. It's absolutely a dream for doing these sorts of edgings. Okay, got that done. Ready for the pattern paper. I've selected this multi-tone brown as an accent. So I say all of these auxiliary papers are ones that I found a coordinating color within the collection itself. Um, this collection has a wonderful range of colors in it, from the greens to the purples to the beautiful orange shades, the blues, the greens. There's just fabulous, fabulous colors. I just realized I've forgotten to do where the gap will show, so we'll just real quick put some more ink down and go from there. Not too heavy, just enough to knock the brightness down a little. We're going to move on to the inside section of the page. Again, these are just some stamps that I just happen to have that I thought went with the collection really well, like the formal chairs, and then the desk setup with the book and the ink bottle and the pen. As I was getting ready to place the tape on it, I realized that these edges hadn't been inked or anything. So just take a minute, grab my ink, and take it and go to town a little bit there. Checking make sure that it closes and I've stayed far enough away from the fold. Just taking a minute, getting it sized up. I once heard a long, long time ago that colors go together because you put them together. That's very true, and if we can't rely on our instincts, we can certainly rely on color theory and understand if it's opposite of each other on the color wheel, it's going to bring a lot of energy to your work. And of course, if they're side by side on the color wheel, it will bring more calmness, more subduedness. So, of course, orange and blue are opposite each other, yet purple and blue are side by side. So, manage just to tone it down in case it gets too bright. And I'm going to put this lovely rusty strip from the collection on the edge. Again, picking up those orange tones, tying it all back together. Tried out several I didn't like, leaning very heavily towards this pattern purple. I think it's just fabulous. I'll be doing the same and adding a strip from the collection on the outside edge as well to help tie in all those colors. Okay, just tightening everything up, giving it a good burnish. Just picking out some of the images from the collection and some of the stamped images that I had embossed and just laying them out, getting a similar feel to the collection. I like using all parts of the collection. This image of Lady Vagabond actually was on the cover page, so just cut it out. Okay, pretty happy with that. Make some minor adjustments here and there. I don't necessarily plan to use this page for photos, but I like to have enough variety in there where you can really get the feel for the paper collection and enjoy those images and so forth. And then, like on the inside page, with the addition of the flaps, you've got a fair amount of space for photos. And last one. Almost last one. Then I spy the message in the bottle. Figure out where to put that. Nah, we'll put it where all the rest of the things to be read. Getting close to finished. I thought these looked like really cool hinges of an old-fashioned great door. Certainly something Lady Vagabond would have in her house. Airship. And here we are, the completed page. As I mentioned earlier, I'll be adding a ribbon to the bottom of the page to close the doors. They don't stay closed very well. Here's the inside. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.